As each new season inches closer and closer, typically throughout the hockey world, there's always a player or two still holding out due to contract negotiations. But this time around, we're now witnessing a trifecta of top caliber players unable to join their teams due to not finding common ground as far as fresh deals are concerned. In this video, we're going to go over and discuss 3 NHL RFAs that still remain unsigned and what might become of each particular situation. And with that, here are 3 NHL players that still aren't signed and the possible outcomes that may come about. In many aspects, now looking back, Elias Pettersson has appeared to be more and more as a definite steal for Vancouver. As a forward, was, believe it or not, selected after players such as Nolan Patrick and Nico Hischier. Creative, agile, and consistent on both ends of the ice, Pettersson quickly impressed once he made his way to NHL ice. After snagging the Calder following a remarkable rookie campaign of 66 points in 71 games played, number 40 began to cement his reputation as a franchise player for the Canucks early on. But unfortunately, for Jim Benning and company, after his entry deal expired, Pettersson has remained stagnant as far as his next deal is concerned. Following the recent Kirill Kaprizov signing, the benchmark for the Canucks to meet is seemingly around a $9 million AAV due to the fact that, like Pettersson, the Calder recipient has recorded the same point per game total throughout with a .927. Despite this though, due to current cap constrictions, it has been and will continue to be difficult for Benning to offer the forward anything close to what he's truly worth due to the fact that he also will be focusing on paying another cornerstone player in Quinn Hughes. With around a little over $13 million to work with in cap space currently, it's becoming increasingly evident that either Pettersson will settle for less in term and amount, or possibly succumb to an offer sheet from another willing team. The only logical scenario here for the RFA, if he's willing to still cash in later, would be to take a shorter bridge deal and wait it out until his team can truly pay him. Either way, for Canucks fans, this whole scenario has to be increasingly stressful due to the uncertainty and the fact that if Pettersson returns, he will have missed training camp and potentially part of the regular season. One could say that the Tkachuk situation proves to be far more interesting than the other two on this list, as Brady's older brother Matthew has still been able to stir the pot off the ice as well, while commenting on the current discourse between number 7 and his current club. After debuting for the 2018-19 campaign, the 4th overall pick of 2018, just like his father and brother before him, proved to be a tenacious physical forward, who never shied away from a good scrum or fight for space in the paint. Therefore, despite the fact that he may not be close to a point per game player, Brady brings more intangibles to the ice surface that definitely command decent compensation. So far, the info that has trickled down involving the Stalemate includes the 8-year $64 million contract proposal that the Sens reportedly offered, the desire on Tkachuk's end for added bonuses, and, shocking I know, the organization's unwillingness to comply with such an asking. But keep in mind, despite the fact that he's not the GM, Eugene Melnyk has been known to pull the strings from higher up, and he's also the same owner who was around when the team refused to pay their previous star and captain Erik Karlsson what he was truly worth, ultimately sending him to San Jose. So, the options here seem to be either forget the bonuses or agree to a shorter deal in hopes of a better luck next time negotiation. And that's if, with a potential UFA status, that Tkachuk agrees to stay with the team that once drafted him. Following the younger Tkachuk taking the ice with the Blues team prior to training camp in St. Louis, Matthew Tkachuk had this to say: "I'm in the mix. I'm always there," Matthew says. "It's a family business. Nobody wants to deal with the Tkachuks in this, but we do it by committee. Brady might be pulling a classic Tkachuk right now. Dad held out, I held out, and Brady looks like he's on his way right now. So, hopefully, it can get figured out here. But it's a lot of fake stuff out there regarding this. They're not too close," Matthew said on the 31 Thoughts podcast. Despite this being roughly a week ago, one can surmise that given the Sens' track record on paying their stars, this one could very well drag out well into the regular season, unfortunately. And finally, this leads us to the other Canuck that has yet to come to agreeable terms with Vancouver. Hughes, who has reportedly been holding out due to a disagreement in term rather than amount, has quickly become an integral part of the team's blue line while consistently contributing offensively. As Buffalo recently awarded Rasmus Dahlin with a 3-year, $18 million deal, the benchmark began to become increasingly clearer on what Hughes could be commanding, at least as far as an AAV is concerned. This situation has become increasingly dire for Benning and company, as Toronto's top pairing defenseman Travis Hamonic, according to Elliot Friedman, is heavily contemplating retirement at the present time. If 30-year-old retires, however, he would be freeing up around $3 million for the GM to work with for the next 2 seasons. Instead of going outside the roster to find defensive help, the most preferable outcome, most certainly, would be for Hughes to be present as the season begins. Even though Oliver Ekman-Larsson will be debuting this season with Vancouver, it's still highly doubtful that he would be able to even out the discrepancy if Hughes didn't appear for the season opener. Therefore, as a pair of Vancouver's unsigned RFAs continue to train in Michigan, along with Tkachuk, many fans and spectators alike have to be wondering how long the standoff will continue, and how much of a setback it will cause the two stars to have if and when they return.